So the other thing I wanted to, I guess, briefly talk about is like I don't know how long these are gonna be. I don't mind; they can be as long as they need to be. Um, I don't know how many puzzles is gonna be appropriate. Ideally, because like honestly, it's been kind of hard just getting ideas for it because like trying to figure out like mispositioning and stuff hasn't been like easy for me. So what I ended up doing was I went to Twitch and then I looked at a bunch of like silver, gold, like unranked players, and then I just took a picture of that and then I moved it over to the proguides website to the board. My dream situation here right now is like we get big enough that I have people sending me their clips or sending me pictures of their
Yeah,
positioning, and that would be perfect. That's like the ideal
yeah.
podcast version for me. But for now, I'm just kind of scringing them up as I can, and they're not all gonna be great because some of them are like off the top of my head, just kind of like silly. Like I think the second one you're gonna see it, you're like, what is this? I was just like, I had to think of something, right? So
It's good. It's good that it's actual people, though. That it's not like you going on a normal game and griefing your positioning just to show the mistake.
mhm.
Because, like, you get rid of the argument of, yeah, but King Salt just you just created the situation that doesn't really happen in reality.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
And the thing
So
is
it's
that
good that it's actual people.
so it's weird because I feel like there's multiple layers to this game, and then I feel some people are really good at certain aspects and not as good at other aspects. So you see people doing what sometimes feels like a bronze mistake in platinum, and it's like, okay, it's a plat player, so I want to put it in platinum, but I'm pretty sure like he knows better than that, and he's still making that mistake. Yo, we got a star furball joining us on the stream.
Oh, that's me.
Oh,
That's me.
okay, gotcha.
Apparently, I'm stuffable.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
give you a random name and then you got to change it afterwards. I don't know if to do an introduction to this. It feels kind of awkward to do it. I'm pretty sure I'm. I was thinking I was just posting it fairly into the beginning when we just kind of started talking. Or what do you think?
I think we could just start talking now. We can do some introductions. Like this can be this awkward conversation can be our introduction.
Sounds good to me.
Like there's no need to go too much into introducing ourselves at this point. We're just two dudes talking about TFT, I
Sounds good,
guess.
man. So yeah,
What do you prefer though?
we're gonna start with the iron puzzle. Um,
Um,
so right here, man, this one it is the most common mistake of every single person I've coached under platinum, and it's this is why I came up with the term like playing emotionally. I was like before Polt came into the scene and the meta basically changed right because of this one player. It was you want to be level 4 here because you're playing for econ, and um, you would always see them just slam 5, and I'm like, okay, I'm not saying that's wrong. I want to ask why, and they're like, I've lost to this before, and I'm like, okay, but that doesn't mean you're gonna lose now, right? I need to know like, is your Graves 2-star? Is your Poppy 2-star? Why are you like this positioning? If you focus on one Krug, it's a lot easier to beat it. So that was always my biggest gripe with anybody at low elo because they weren't playing from what they had. They were playing from how they had done before. Does that make sense to you?
yeah.
Like, have you
Oh,
seen
it
anything
does.
like it?
I had the same issue with Cogs. I lost to them a couple of times when I first started, and then I was afraid of them for a couple of like you get this I don't want to lose the Krugs feeling, and
Yep.
you can like just be afraid and not be sure if you win. Did you know that if you lose the items if you don't kill something in Krugs, you won't lose your item slot? Are you? Because when you start a game,
Mm-hmm.
what items and how many items you get are set, right?
Mm-hmm.
They seem random to you, but they're generated at the start of the game.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you want if you don't kill your 3 Krugs, it's fine. You will get the item in Wolves or Dragon or Arcrafter. But that does mean that you'll spend like a whole stage not having
With
that
less
extra
items.
item or item,
Yeah, I
and you
always
lose HP as Krugs.
the way
So
I thought about it, or I thought it was explained to me was there's a percentage of items that you're always gonna get. So if you don't get them here, then you get higher percentages for later, which just makes sense. Uh,
you don't get high percentage. Like if you, for starters,
mhm.
carousels do not count in the item.
Okay.
Right? You have an item pool of how many items out of it? Like let's say 20.
Yeah.
So you have an item pool of 20. You get 3 items in the first, like you get a bow, a glove, and armor in the first 3 PvE stages. That means you have less of a chance of getting another bow, another armor, another glove. You still have the same chances for the other item.
Okay.
And that's why when you get an item, when you need multiples of one item, you usually want to get that in the carousel, because carousel does not impact your chance for loot drop. So yeah, that's.
Has that ever been in a
how
patch notes? I don't remember ever reading that. It makes total sense to me.
No, Mort explained. I don't even know where there's a distinct amount of lack of information for TFT.
That is something I personally think there's a problem there, and it needs to be addressed. And that's always been my problem with Riot. Like when I got back into Summoner Drift, I know this is a small tangent. I was a bit toxic, hence the name, right? When I started playing, and I got banned. I'm like, it's fine. I'm still gonna get my victorious reward. And then I found out that was the one season that they changed it. So if you are not honorable 2, you can't get the victorious skin. And I was like, that's never been like that. It doesn't say it on the client. Doesn't say it anywhere. It's like, oh, you have to read outside of the client. I'm like, so it's just something I've always had issues with. But hopefully, we can get all of those tidbits into this podcast and then get that information across in maybe different ways. Because I know I don't watch more. I know he has a couple of videos out there. Never been my personal thing.
No, I don't watch the videos usually. I just watch the stream because there's so many questions that he answers.
Yeah.
And there's so many things you can learn about the game. Not from a infrastructure, a background point of view, like how things work.
So Axeman asked
how the items, for example, work, how things like that work.
Axeman asked, do we get about 12 components every game? And I think that's right.
Yeah. You get 11 minimum, I think, and 14 max, 13 max. So yeah, the average is 12. It really sucks when you get 11 or 13, but when you have that extra component, it sucks. So 11 is low roll. I don't think you can get 10. I'm pretty sure you can't. But 10 or 11 is pretty much the same, because you just have a component and it sucks so much. Yeah. I think 11 is the minimum, if I remember correctly.
So the other thing what I have for the puzzle, right? I'm not saying this is necessarily the best. This is what I came up with. I think the fun part for us is going to be like what I'm going to position, and then whether or not you agree with it and how you would do things different. Because then the next one is also going to showcase it, so it's a bit of a spoiler, I guess. But my thing with Graves is people would always put him in the back, and I'm like, that makes sense. He has a gun. You're going to think he's ranged. But he's not, and I learned that the hard way. So
I see so many people putting Graves next to Caitlyn there, without and putting Leona with Graves is in Poppy where Leona is, and then Graves has to walk around. I think an actually slightly better even solution to this is putting Graves where Poppy is, because he actually manages, especially if he's 2-star, he will manage 2 ultis instead of 1. That's the whole situation with the whole why you put Graves. I get mad when I see people putting Graves in the backline as Blitzblade. I think that's bad.
Yeah.
Because if you put him in the front line, when he's 2-star, right? Let's assume he's 2-star, because 1-star, unless you use him as an item carrier, it's not that great.
Yeah.
But 2-star, which you usually can get by Krugs, or in the fights between, you want to get as many ults as possible, because the ult is so strong.
Yeah.
It can win you games, or if you're weak, it can help you kill more units and take less damage. So the Graves should almost always be in the front line, and actually, so that he gets 2 ults. And that's the same situation here. If you put him where Poppy is, the 2 Krugs are coming in and hitting him, he gets an ulti almost instantly on them, and then as he's hitting, if he gets a couple more, he usually manages to get 1 more before he dies, if he even dies. In this situation, he'll die, if you don't have 10. But yeah, this situation, if he's 2-star, you usually put him where Poppy is, I feel. Because you get 2 ults off, and the other 3 units have more time to kill.
Yeah, so this is a very bare bone puzzle. As I've been getting more comfortable making the puzzles, they'll go all the way into almost health, EXP, the shop, the you're bored. But like this is like when I started making them, and it was just like this is the first one. If I'm making one puzzle and everybody needs to learn, it's this one.
Yeah, this has to be in. Definitely.
So my train of thought was always like, well, Poppy can tank really well, and I know that Graves is gonna deal damage, but I never really thought about the ultimate, and it makes perfect sense. Now, my one question is, Graves was 1-star. Would this position be better?
I would put him where Leona is. I would switch them because the Krug, the Krug might hit him.
Mm-hmm.
It usually hits the person. If you position 3 in a row,
yeah.
it usually hits the person in the middle, and he can handle one Krug for a while.
Okay, makes sense.
And then could help Poppy survive more because he will ult the other.
So then we go for the next one.
He does shitty damage. He does so bad damage. He has the lowest attack speed in the game.
And this is the one where it's like it's naked, right? And it's like when you see it, it's like, really, you made this? So this is like my lack of creativity. I feel like somebody out there is doing this mistake, and the board would look a lot more organic. But this is the one thing I wanted to get across: is Rakan hits with his cape, but it's ranged, and Graves is melee even though he has a gun. So pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah. You definitely want to switch those, yeah. It's not really a puzzle. It's just this is a common mistake thing, but yeah, that also segues into what I said before. Like Graves, you want him to be frontline.
Yes.
He will give you. There's two. Yeah, I already said it. There's the two advantages to this. He might help you win, or he might with damage mitigation, or he might help you lose less. So if you kill 3 units instead of 2. That's 2 less damage per stage. That's really important.
This one's almost like at maxed out. So this one, I think we're gonna switch from iron to bronze, and it was we got 39 gold. We have everything on the board 2-starred. We're flexible. There's a potential that we could do Graves 3 if we feel like it. We have the Leona. Sorry about that. Let me find that real quick. Okay. And
I disappeared.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I got you. And just because the call went through. There we go. Oh my goodness. Friend. Okay, there, perfect. So yeah. The way I would deal with this, I think it's fairly straightforward, right? If you're at high elo, but at low elo, you might not necessarily think about it. You just sell the Fiora and you hit your 40 gold breakpoints. Because when I talk to people from bronze to iron, they don't really know about how money works and interest and all of that stuff. So.
I don't know. Do you sell the Fiora?
Actually, no. I'm greedy and I really want that Graves 3. Well, the thing is, okay, when I made this, I was thinking about when Shredder was still like really prevalent, and that 6 seconds basically denying Zaya was really important. Okay. And
it's Shredder's still prevalent. No, your solution is not wrong, but I want to add to it. You don't do anything. You wait until you kill Krugs.
Okay.
Starters.
Yeah.
Right. Because there's a distinct possibility. If it's treasure trove, you're getting gold pretty much. Not always. You might get 3 items, but you always wait until you kill Krugs. Like when you are any amount of gold close to a checkpoint before PvE, and you actually can reach it by selling something on your bench, you hold. And that goes to when you're at X9, so 19, 29, 39, 49 gold, or 9 gold, before you go into a match, unless you know you're losing, never sell. You never have to hit the checkpoint before fight. Because if you win, you get to keep that gold. You should have sold it. You might need it later, right? So, or that even worse, you might need that champion. So there's no need to make sacrifices until you actually know you need.
So honestly,
like in this case, I would wait until Krugs were gone. Okay, I got another mistake. People often do is they forget that they have a little legend and they have to collect the.
Wait, really? Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
They take so long. They wait until everything dies and then they go collect. Dude, if you were slow in killing them, you literally will not have any time to make decisions before interest hits. You gotta be fast.
Yep.
So I would position my little legends in between, somewhere there, and just start collecting as things drop. And then if I got no gold, I would sell the grave. Because
Yeah.
there's a possibility for cybers. There's probably not a strategy chance here, but there's a cybers possibility with Leona. If I get illusion, maybe it already have graves. I don't know what items I have. Maybe I have a red buff. So yeah, there's. I would definitely not sell it. I would sell the graves.
Yeah. The thing is,
I don't think going for a 3-star graves is
a win condition.
worth it.
Yeah. The thing is, like, personally, I've had such bad luck with cybers. I've rolled 100 gold and not hit Echo. So
and on 8 or 9?
On 8.
Yeah, that's a common mistake as well. You don't go 8, you go 9 with cybers. You always have to go 9.
So
8 is like the desperate roll.
Yeah.
It's not 7 where the desperate roll
No,
is at 8.
7. No, we don't do 7.
Yeah, we don't. It used to be a thing. Like when cybers was actually tested, people were rolling, like with Jin as well, were rolling at 7 for Jin and Zed.
Crazy.
But yeah, you do not, under any circumstance, do you roll 8 unless you're dying. And usually cybers, it's a win streak comp, it's a tempo comp. You want to get to 9, almost always. And then roll with a 15% chance. Like, it's close to no chance that you won't get Echo if you roll like above 30 gold.
Gotcha.
It's so easy to get it.
So I know.
Yeah, you go 9.
The thing is, like, I know that's not a comp that I feel comfortable with. Like, I can play blasters, I can play vanguards, I can play snipers. So based on my experience, that's how I would go Fiora. But you know, after talking with you, I kind of realized, yeah, definitely the objectively proper play is to sell Graves. And
you already have. If you had that 1-star Graves, since Graves is a much stronger unit than Fiora, I'd probably sell the Fiora, right?
Yeah, that would have been a better puzzle.
Hope I get a 2-star Graves.
Yeah.
It's all opinion related. Some people just like going for stars. Fine. But yeah, it's I would almost always sell the Graves there. And I'll be very happy to have an extra Graves to sell there.
Yeah, and the other thing is not selling before you finish the Krugs is something that is so innately ingrained in the back of my head that to me it's so obvious that I didn't even think about mentioning it. So I think it's great that you did, man. Thank you.
Also, there's no need, like, when you're so strong, you might not even care about positioning.
Yeah.
Like, 4 2-stars, I assume you have a couple of items on them as well. Like, I hear, like, I have students who ask, okay, how do I position? And I see that, like, the level 5 with 3 2-stars with, like, a Last Whisper and a Death Blade. And I'm like, it's fine. Just leave it, man. You're fine.
Oh, yeah.
And because they have this trauma of, okay, I can't kill Krugs.
Yeah, and before we leave the PvE, because those were the only PvE ones that I had, the other thing that I've been seeing is the one after PvE. I think normally it would be Wolves. I see people bringing their front line to the back line, bringing their back line to the front line, and I'm like, my guy, you're strong enough. Calm down.
Yeah, I used to do that. I think nobody loses to Wolves. Like I've seen people lose at Arc Raptors. I've never seen anyone lose to Wolves. Like it seems impossible. I almost lost to Cade.
Oh shit! Okay.
I killed him in the end. Like,
nice.
I think it was Void, so he insta killed my Vel'Koz. And my Kha'Zix was like level 1. Because I couldn't find one. And like he almost killed, like, and he had Sojins. He had Sojins, that's why he almost killed me, because he got so much mana every time, and he almost killed my whole team before Cho will just stun him for just enough to kill him. It was crazy. But yeah, Wolves, don't position for Wolves, guys. Even if you have like 2 snipers at the back line, leave them where they are. You do not need to do it.
And the thing is, like, that's the moment that you need to be scouting. And that's the guy, I think.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time to scout.
Like, he just doing all of these things, and my guy, there's information out there for free. And, like, you don't have to worry about it. So, again, guys, I made the Krugs one in specific because I know people have basically PTSD about it. But all of the other ones, you theoretically should be strong enough that use that time to scout. Scout, relax, don't be pressured. You have 30 seconds. There's 7 people. So that's really what I wanted to get out of the PvE.
Yeah. Also be careful with like I think that I see like challenger people make a mistake. It's not really a mistake. It's just human. Like after Krugs, it's often a very hectic time. It's when you often commit to your comp. It's when you hyper roll if you're hyper rolling. It's a lot. It's a hectic time.
It's when the dopamine hits.
People will have clumsy positioning. They will have very weird units in sometimes. So 3-1 is often a free round for you to get if you position properly and are ready by it. It seems more prevalent now in the hyper roll meta. It's something I've noticed, but it doesn't always happen. But make sure to not be the guy who is more vulnerable, or the girl.
Yeah.
Is more vulnerable at 3-1 and lose your streak, or your win streak.
Yeah. So for this one I actually saw somebody make, like, this was their positioning, right? And I was like, okay, this is perfect, right? Because this is not something I feel like I could naturally come up with, and I feel like it's not terrible, right? But it could definitely be more optimal. And I don't remember if the way I changed it, it's just I moved Cho'Gath and Wukong all the way to the front, or like I moved them to the front and then I spread them out a little bit. I think also you probably want to put Kayle in a corner because of like her diagonal auto attacks. I can't remember if I moved it in the puzzle, but those are the two major things that I saw when I saw this positioning. I was like, something.
What is the lightning and the heart?
Lightning is health. The lightning is EXP.
Oh, and they're just not there because they're not relevant.
Exactly. Like when you have 50 gold on both sides, it's easier for me because I'm making. So there isn't a custom thing out there, right? For like the entire thing.
No, it's fine. So it's a Brawler, Vanguard, no Valkyrie, Sniper setup.
It feels like an amalgamation, honestly.
Well, it depends who has items, but yeah, I would put Malphite where Jin is as well.
Yeah, let's see how I changed it. Yeah, I left the Kayle in the middle, which probably I should have moved her.
Kayle in the middle is fine. A bit to the left or right is probably a bit better. But honestly, I would just use Kate as hook bait as well for, besides scouting. Like, you can always scout and see if there's Blitzcrank.
Yeah.
Right? A general sense. Like, there's 3 Blitzcranks.
That's another really big PTSD thing that I honestly totally forgot about. But it's just like, when people, I remember it was level 4, and someone picked their Malphite and shoved it to a corner without scouting, and I'm like, why'd you do that? He's like, Blitzcrank. And I'm like, did you scout? He's like, no. Are there Blitzcranks? I don't know. We scouted. There are no Blitzcranks. You're trolling. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's good to play. It's good to always position like there's a Blitzcrank, but do scout for like at least the first couple of rounds. So, like the first couple of rounds, people usually get a Blitzcrank or 2. And in the first couple of rounds, you don't know who you're facing. So it's good to position like there's a Blitzcrank in the room, in the lobby. But at the same time, don't position like an idiot because there's a Blitzcrank in the lobby. A very good early positioning against Blitzcrank is backline everything. Use something as hook bait, but backline the rest of the stuff so that so that you still get split aggro and your carry can still hit the same thing your tank is hitting, etc., etc. Like there's a lot of intricacy in early positioning, and it has to do with manipulating the AI of units and how they behave. It's really advanced. I was looking at a session Mismatch Socks was doing for its Primal, and he went really deep into that. It was amazing, and it gets really, really, really deep on how you want not either win or just lose less. In this case, I would consider Blitzcrank. I would probably protect the Jin. There's no items, so I don't know if I assume that Jin 2 has an item.
I think he didn't.
I would like to protect it.
Like for the future ones, I'll make sure to always have items. Like some of them are going to start having items. But again, it's the first session. There were always going to be a couple hiccups.
It's fine. We
but
can
also,
do that for the next month. I would try to separate the
mm,
Jin and the Kale, since I assume those are my two carries a little bit. So put Kale on the left, and then put Malphite where Jin next to him, something like that. Since you do want the sniper, you have the sniper synergy, so you want them to be as far away as possible.
and also,
Depending on what on scouting and stuff, you can always adapt and like switch your. If there's a lot of infiltrators, you might put Cho'Gath. If you know you're fighting an infiltrator, you could put Cho'Gath where Kale is, for example, and just tank them for a while, or even Wukong. Put Wukong.
yeah, that was
Playing against infiltrator is 99% positioning. Anyway.
like I don't know if it's in this set, but I coached a diamond player and he had Lucian where he had where Kale is right now. Actually, I don't. Let's see if we get to that one. If we don't get to that one, we can talk about it. But yeah, that's a mistake that diamond players are still making, kind of thing. Because like,
oh yeah, of course.
Because it's just people are so used to like I looked up a guy online, I'll make exactly what the same place, and they're just not adapting to the situation that they're playing.
That's another like we go to a bit of a tangent, but it's okay because we do it a lot. The ranks in TFT really do not reflect the same skill they do in League of Legends.
Yeah.
Like Diamond 1 in League is a good rank. Like you're good at the game. You know maybe you're one trick, but if you have that one single champion that you can actually coach people on, like you're that good to get there. Usually, right? We're talking about averages. Diamond 1 in TFT, if you hit the right patch, you can just one trick Mech Infiltrator to get there.
Yep.
Like Mech Infiltrator is just an example here. So it's not that I'm cheapening the rank or anything, but it's about consistency of staying at that rank while actually playing the game with TFT, because it's much easier to D-rank than it is with normal League. So Diamond players make a ton of mistakes. I coached a guy to rank higher than mine. I coached a guy to Grandmasters. It doesn't really matter how your actual rank doesn't really matter in TFT. In order to like coach or actually have something to offer as far as others, or make mistakes. I learn every time, and I actually have learned from students as well. It's just something you have to be open.
Yeah.
It's a game. It's very deep and very open to opinions.
Like I had a client who was very focused on I'm gold and my friend's platinum, and I know I'm better than him, so I need to hit platinum. And I'm like, dude, it's a matter of game knowledge, and that's why in my mind, like the first video I ever made for trying to like coach, I named it like the 7 fundamentals, because I haven't really seen anybody try to break down the game in a way where it's easily accessible for everybody. You okay?
Sorry.
Okay. And
water went down the wrong pipe.
And I saw a couple of videos that came out originally, but then like when you break it down, it helps you figure out like what you're bad at and what you're good at. And so like maybe your positioning is really bad, but you don't know it's really bad because you're still hitting platinum, because you're making up for being bad at positioning with something else. And hopefully with this, I don't know if I can even add a third layer, because like I have like the way I've had them categorized, it's economy, positioning, and units. And so if they see one puzzle and that one puzzle they get it wrong, then they get a sense of what they're bad at, because you can't get better at something if you don't know what you're bad at, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, maybe. But we always have to remember that it is a game of opinions, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like we could say one thing and be just as valid as someone who says another thing. There are things that are like definitely wrong, but they're not too many. And that's why it's nice to have a podcast conversation about it, because already, like in the two puzzles, the bronze and the iron puzzles, we had slightly different views of it, because we looked at different things. And that's what's really nice about TFT as well. You have different, like a bronze player might give you an insight that you hadn't thought about, because maybe you thought it was obvious, right? And you didn't. It's autopilot for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we always have to remember that. That's actually really nice.
Also, I'm gonna mention it now, because probably when I watch the podcast, I want to remember. But if you can send me the link for that coaching session with Mismatch Socks, so I can put it on the link, on the details or description. Awesome, dude.
There you go.
Thank you. And I think I wanted to say something else. It'll probably come back to me. But let's check out the next one. The thing is, I don't remember the ranks. I think next time I'll just put the picture on the ranks. But I'm gonna say this was still silver. This one okay. This one had items. This is almost as perfect as it's gonna be. And I looked at this and I was just yikes. Was the only thing that really came to my mind.
You know, there's people who don't know that Rebels have to be adjacent. They think they get the buff just because they are in the field.
Yeah, so hopefully we were able to reach out to them. But I understand their mentality. I understand. Master Yi is my champion, and I think they sort of understand that they need to be next to each other because like he's the one with most adjacent units. But even just the items and the money.
And there's nothing on the bench for this one. Three-star Sona.
Yeah, no, yeah.
He had is something they got off Carousel.
I think he had 2 more Sonas on the bench. I think it was a female, and I think she ended the game with a 3-star Sona. And it was the frontline Sona that just threw me off. I'm like, but why is she in the front?
I mean, frontline Sona, sure, but that's like 12 gold you threw down the drain.
Yeah, no, that. So I feel like here we can talk about this one for like honestly like 10 minutes easily. But like the thing I wanted to focus on is just positioning, man, right? So like Jinx in the middle, Ziggs in the back. We can use Sonas in the corner, Kale on the side. We can also shove her to all the way to the corner if like that's something that you're feeling.
Also, I would actually put the Yi where Yasuo is and use Yasuo as hook bait. Because the Ziggs is at this point the Ziggs is doing more work than a Yasuo 1 with the bow. Actually, I would just sell a Yasuo and put something else in.
Yeah, but
honestly, how many rebels is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, you do want the 6 rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just.
But yeah, it's. Oh man.
It's just like let me help you, please. Like I understand you're trying.
Too, so he has no gold, so it's bad to sell the E and transfer item.
Yeah. So I feel this was somebody who just didn't have the game knowledge of the meta or how to play the comp properly. I have a full set of like basic compositions. I didn't put him on this one, but I guess we could talk about that one later.
I think that's an issue for another podcast because the whole designer comp versus play what you get is a huge issue.
That sounds like such a fun episode or podcast, though. I'm super down for that one, though.
Yeah. I'm not against designer comp. I like designer comp, but I think they're good once you actually learn the game a bit better.
Yeah.
Because people get tunnel vision into them, and they just so hard, so hard.
They really do.
Until they actually understand the game. Set 3 is a good game, and set 3 is actually friendly towards designers. Set 2 was not friendly. Like you could not reach those designers at all because they were so difficult to actually navigate until the point where you got the actual champion. Set 3 is slightly more friendly towards it, and still it's bad because.
You just have to work with what you got, kind of thing, and I think that's where the game really shines.
Until you learn how to actually implement that design. Right? It's not that hard. Mech Infiltrator, I keep coming back to it, but it's a very nice example. Mech is a designer comp, right? It's the same units, 7 units. Like
there's 3 mech pilots, shove them all together.
And Lux. That's it. Like these are the items. You gotta get Bramble. You gotta get QSS. And if you can, you gotta get demo for Kai'Sa. That's it.
So
Morello and Archangel are not necessary, for example.
I haven't seen this anywhere else. That it might be somewhere, and I just didn't know how to look for it. I'm trying to make a full roster. I'm honestly unmotivated because I know the set's changing, but when the new set comes out, I'm doing it for sure. Of cards, and so I'm gonna put it. If I get the chance to put it on Reddit, I want to put multiple cards there for like the carries, because like I say Kale, and people go. GA, RFC, Gwinsus. Okay, cool. Let's say you don't hit.
I've
Zeke's.
played KO with Ginsu's GA QSS double defensive. I got first that game,
and that's fine.
Yeah,
and I like that. But the thing is, like, they like if they don't get if they don't get best in slot, they have no idea what they're doing. And there's there's not a good resource out there. So I guess in another podcast we could talk about the cards and then you can give me your feedback. But like I know for Jinx you could do Giant Slayer, you can do double Giant Slayer Trap Claw or red buff Giant Slayer Trap Claw.
Jinx you can do
a lot of stuff.
This set is super item dependent.
Yeah,
it's the most item dependent set so far. But at the same time, there's becoming a bit more like it's the item agnostic comps that are winning usually.
Zaya.
Unless it's Zaya's not item agnostic, but before that, like Darkstars were fairly item agnostic besides Crystals and Zeref.
My bad.
Cybers were item agnostic, still are to an extent, but Irelia kind of needs Infinity or Deathblade.
For some reason, I thought about it backwards, like agnostic forcing them. Like agnostic just means flexible as all can be. Gotcha.
Yeah, agnostic means they could just use every item. So,
yeah.
KO is actually one of them. Like you could go Giant Slayer, usually one against us, but it's not that hard to just get one of the three items.
Yeah.
So you can go like Trap Claw, Giant Slayer, Ginsu's KO, and be fine. Very strong. Trap Claw is actually sleeper OP. It's because of KO and Jinx, because it stuns KO and Jinx.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good for the mirror. It's also good in mech info mirrors because you stun the opponent's Kaisa and your Kaisa is stunned.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, tangents.
Yeah, the last one that tangent I wanted to speak of is I think we could name it like carry cards or whatever, or like carry items, and then because I want to see. Like, I think that's really what's necessary. I want to do extra stuff for anybody that wants some coaching. And because we're doing it together, I guess we could share, like, I don't mind giving you, like, all of the stuff that I've made. But then having it for, like, secondary carries, like, let's say you're giving items to Twisted Fate for whatever reason. What items would be good at Twisted Fate if you're playing Kha'Zix and stuff like that. So I think that would be fun.
You could make item cards. Well, item cards would be great.
Yeah.
After the mix of the expansion, though, because they're going to change.
It's just so much work. I ended up making Kale, Zaya, Jinx, and Rumble, I think. Which, are just the carries right now, not too much work. Pretty straightforward, in my opinion. So this one... Oh, yeah, I did it earlier. Yeah. So this one, I think, is one of the more funner ones that we can have fun with. But again, I kind of made it myself. It's not really as forced. But then the idea is, this is like perfect for Reddit. I put it on Reddit, is what would you guys make if these are the items that you have at level...
Oh, man. I see the Sojin Lucians already.
Yep, and you're going to see it, and we're going to see it, and those are the people that we're looking for to talk to them and have a discussion about their train of thought, and then... Because my big thing, and I think this is what I wanted to talk to you about before, is when I coach, I don't want you to tell me that I'm right. I'm not interested in that. I want you to agree that you understand my train of thought. Whether you agree with my train of thought, that's your personal decision. But if you understand where I'm coming from and it makes sense, then I think I've done as much as a coach as I can, because it's on you to make that decision. But if you don't have the information to know that that's a possibility, then you're going to struggle, and that's why I think people need help, and why would someone actually get a coach?
Yeah, people usually just get coaches to rank up, but it's important. No, it's fine. Like, it's legit, but it's on the coaches then to just make them understand that ranking up means learning, and I'm not here to boost you.
Yeah,
it's not a boosting service. What I want to do is to teach you how to fish.
Yes.
Right? Not give you the fish themselves. And then if you come back to learn more things, that's fine. That's good. That's awesome. But yeah, it's it's on the coaches. Like, it's not on us, on them to know what they want always when they're coming in.
Yeah, for sure.
It's on us to actually help them understand what the direction they should be taking and what they should learn to rank up or to whatever they do.
So I don't know if I full on Bepega on this one, honestly. I might have. But I think it's funner if we talk about it before I show you what I ended up doing. Honestly, I've done these like a week ago, so I can't even remember what I made.
Man, these items suck.
So my train of thought here, without even knowing what I made, was okay. What can I flex into, right? What are the two comps I'm thinking about, and then based on that,
No bench.
I don't got bench. Let's assume everything's two-star except blitz.
Don't think about comps though. It's bad to think about comps.
Okay.
Like, well, as a gold player, no, think about comps. No, sorry. This is a gold player, so we're not ready for the play what you get and like make something that is strong because you have an innate sense of what is strong because you've played so much.
Yeah.
So your goal. You're looking into Blaster Brawlers probably for this, right? Maybe Cybers.
Yeah.
Probably Blaster Brawlers. So you have tiers. Tiers suck.
After all the nerfs that they got?
So you want them for MF?
Yes.
Lucian is very good with Archangel, so I would make Archangel. Oh, basic rule. If you have more than 60 mana, if you have up to 60 mana, Archangel is better than Sojin. If you have more than 60 mana, Sojin is better than Archangel. Basic math. Lucian has 30 mana. Sojin is terrible. Go online and go 30 times 0.18, which is how much mana Sojin gives you with every auto attack. After you, that's how much mana you get back. It's like 6, something like that. It gives you nothing. So, Archangel. Archangel and Lucian, hoping to give it to a Meph at some point. Yeah, Sojin would be kind of better for a Meph, but a Meph wants to ult. Like, she really has to ult Fugo. So, if she doesn't ult, it's kind of useless as just sitting there. So, Sojin is, I would argue that if you have AP items, Sojin is better. But it's very close between them because of how important the first ult is for a Meph. Because Sojin on a Meph is useless until she ults. And it's tough. It's a win more item on a Meph, let's say that. Archangel is a solid good item. So I prefer Archangel, but I have made Sojin in the past. So I would make Archangel, I would make GA, or maybe Greed, and just put the PS sword on Lucian, and hold the armor for
red buff.
What's it called? For red buff, yeah. GA is a solid Jinx item, so we might end up slamming it. But I would make Archangel and BF probably on the Lucian, and maybe I'd probably give Graves or I might hold the armor and the rod, to be honest.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I don't think I made Shojins. I don't think I ever make Shojins. If I made Shojins, this will be the most humiliating thing in the first episode of this podcast. So I'm really hoping I didn't do Shojins. Oh wait, what?
Yeah,
I'm trolling.
Okay.
Oh God.
You're thinking about going Void or Blaster Brawlers.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I think we got value off of this puzzle because we talked about it. Because we had the Seraph for
Seraph GA and then like.
And the sword. If I were to make this after learning about Kha'Zix, I would have switched the rod for a belt, and then I would have made you pivot between Blaster Brawler or Zeke and Sarah.
Like 50 gold. This is like after,
no. Okay, when it's 50 golds on both sides, I'm just basically ignoring them.
Because I assume you gotta know which one of the game this is. In the future, you gotta like add a round number because. If this is early, Void is a possibility.
Yeah,
and
so
you still can have Lucian carry the items.
Yeah.
And Archangel is good in both comps, so you definitely make Archangel.
Yeah. So for next time, I'll make sure to remove them. Yeah. The way for this podcast, if there's a number underneath the tokens, or if there's less than 5 tokens, then it's relevant. If not, it's not. That's extremely convoluted, so I'll fix it for next time.
Yeah. Well, fine. So you can do both, actually. Yeah, in that one you can do both Void and Blaster Brawlers anyway. They use with these items, you would pretty much make the same for both. You probably just commit the GA for Void because you're not really making anything else. QSS is much better.
So this one, I think it was a master player that I saw this, and I was going ballistic. I'm gonna put this one on diamond. I think he was either platinum or diamond, and I was going bonkers. He had, I even put it. He had 18 health. I mean, I gotta make those numbers bigger. He had 18 health. There were 3 people left. He had a fizz in the shop, and the reason for why I added the lock was because of this one person. I'm like, why am I ever gonna use the lock, right? Nobody locks, so it's not something I need to put in the puzzles. This person locked a fizz, having 18 health, when he could have just sold the annies and made sure he got second place. I think that was the play. He got lucky. He won the round. He bought the fizz. He never hit the annie, and he didn't get a Nico's. But when I saw that, I was going like, no, what are you like? It's just, I don't know if you see what I'm trying to get at, but I'm just like, if it's like if you're level 8, you're not gonna hit that annie, man.
Their argument is give up the potential for first place, which is the 3-star mech.
The thing is, like,
for immediate power.
The thing is, he didn't.
I would probably, depending on the situation, how strong I was.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably greed it too. I would probably lock as well.
Really? Because the thing is,
Depends.
he didn't have any money.
Depends.
He didn't have any money. He was gonna end up rolling 10 gold at best.
Yeah.
Like maybe 8 at level 8.
Level 8 too. Wait, he's level 8.
Yeah, it was just so unlikely to hit him.
20% chance of landing, 25.
Yeah, I
don't know.
I
probably sell the annies. You're saying he has no gold, yeah.
He had no gold whatsoever. I was going bananas. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're throwing the game. You're gonna get a third when you could have make sure you got a solid second. Like, yeah, it would be nice, but let's be realistic. You don't have any money. I think that it was like this was the second round before PvE, so just get strong, man. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Why did he 2-star KO though?
He hit.
Yeah, even if you hit, don't. Like, KO is a synergy bot in this comp. Even if
you want the money, I know.
If you put a couple of items on it, sure, but that's 8 gold that you could have rolled for ending.
And that's a thing.
Lux is fine. Lux is okay. It's a bit less gold, and it's actually like a significant increase in the chance that she will ult. Because 1-star Lux, if she gets hooked, she's dead. 2-star Lux, she might still ult and get that super duper value that she gets from ult. Kale? Kale is a better blitz bait than Lux in this comp. Why would you throw 8 gold down the drain?
Yeah, and I feel like that's a really, really common thing. I would say gold to platinum, where they're like, I'm just 3-starring whatever I can 3-star if they're doing a hyper reroll comp, and I'm like, yeah, but the unit doesn't go in your composition. Like, why are you doing that? Like, I saw a level 3 Jarvan in Candyland, and I'm like, why?
Why is Jarvan in Candyland?
I'm like, I guess they hit.
Jarvan's okay though. So he denies the Zayas, and you have 100% buyback value. So you spend 9 gold, you get 9.
Actually, I did not know that. I knew that you get all of your money back in 1 cost, like 1-star and 2-star, but I've never sold a 3-star 1 cost. So
yeah, you don't get them back from 2 stars, 2 costs.
Yeah.
Oh, you meant 3 stars.
3 stars, yeah. Because I'm like, if I have a 3-star 1 cost, like I almost never sell it. So it's never been a situation I found myself. But it's good information to know.
You sell Fiora a lot in
Shredder.
Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
I have sold Fiora a lot when I get the 2-star Relia.
Gotcha.
Because you can't always make room. You can't always go 9 and put it. So I've sold Fiora a lot to get the Mana Reaver in.
So this is
3-star Fiora with no items. Like, yeah, that's a 4-second stun, but
at that point in the game, it's fallen off. Where if stunning 1 unit for 4 seconds versus doing Mana Reaver is generally going to be better if you can
damage. Is pretty.
And the health, yeah. So this is just the way I would do the.
I might do that. I don't know. It really, really depends how I feel. Like, if I feel that this is my win condition, I would do it. But yeah, if I have no gold, probably sacrifice.
No gold, man. That was the thing. If he had money, I would have been okay with it. I promise. But when I didn't see him have any money, 18 health, you get 1 bad loss and you're out of the game. I just.
So, if the if there's a MF or a KO in the shop with a fizz, I would cold turkey sell the 2-star KO.
Yeah.
Sell. I don't care about the lost gold. Get that 8 gold back. So 12 gold, but who cares? Get that 8 gold back or 10, however much you get, and then buy a 1-star MF that I don't care but gives you Valkyrie and a fizz, and keep the Annie. So that's another another thing you could do here, but obviously it assumes that you have a Valkyrie in your shop.
Yeah, he didn't, but I think it's also fun to just talk about hypotheticals and like different options.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think we are at platinum.
Fine.
No, this was like silver, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
with
this
that
one.
Positioning, it's probably silver.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
What?
So this one was like, there's no items. It's really just positioning. I thought it was fairly straightforward. So I would at least we can talk about Rakan. Because like I've seen Rakan in the front. I've seen Rakan in the back. There's multiple ways of doing it, but at least so. See, for this one, I put like the stage. Okay, I need to get more used to like putting stages in and the money. Because at this point, the person didn't have any money.
Zaya gets hooked in this one though. If Blitz is in the very far left hex of the front line of the opponent.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm almost never in this position because I usually just have the Caitlyn in the back. So in retrospect, it's more optimal to just
I would put Rakan.
Yeah, like, behind Zaya.
Or Fiora, probably like he's a 1-star. He has a Morello, but I don't know. Probably not in the hex below because then Zaya still gets hooked.
Okay.
I mean, you can scout for it and just position however you like.
Yeah.
It's assuming that you didn't scout properly, or someone switched to Blitz last second. I'll put Rakan in the very corner, like where you usually put. But yeah.
Yeah, that one. It just feels pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it is.
I'm trying to see. Okay, this one I'm gonna call gold because this is what I started. I think this is the only example I have of like more of the copy paste positioning because this was something I saw somebody do and I was like, why?
Why though?
Exactly. And it just felt like maybe they just don't know how to play the comp, and they're really just kind of like auto playing it themselves, going like, yeah, okay, just shove them all in. They all say Dark Star, so just let be what it be.
Don't know the pilot position, guys. Please don't know the pilot position. It's too important. Like it's way too important to autopilot it. Also, who's Jarvan buffing? No one.
Yeah, I think.
And Jin gets hooked.
I didn't have
buff to Lux.
I didn't have enough experience with the Jarvan, so I'm pretty sure I just left them the same or I either flipped them. But after playing enough of the Shredder recently, like I do want Mordekaiser next to Jarvan. So let's see. Wait, did I change anything?
Mordekaiser gets buffed there. You want Jarvan to buff your backline units, so you probably switch more than Jarvan to maybe buff the Karma or something, or even the Shaco if he gets close enough and if he dives. The Jarvan buff actually was first discovered as a really strong buff with Dark Stars.
Huh.
So if you have Xerath, you want Jarvan to be close to Xerath so that he buffs him, and then Karma buffs him, and then Xerath just goes banana.
Yeah, so the thing is, I have very little experience with Dark Stars. When Dark Stars were meta, I dipped that patch. I was like, I'm not dealing with this, and I just switched over to my smart.
They were only weak. They hot fixed.
Yeah. Oh, I think this is another fun one. This one I just overloaded the heck out of the map. Yeah. I think the thing is like when you start, I think this one honestly has optimal items. So you have all of these items, and you're going to have 2 extra items. And I love throwing the spat in there just to see what people can come up with, whether or not they're comfortable with the comp or not.
And this is perfect items. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I know. I think it'll be challenging for anybody that sees it. It's just like, oh my god, so many items, right? I think
Morello, QSS, Brumble, Archangel, Demo, and then you can go Ionic on the Mac, or you can go the Armortizer Resolve on the Mac, maybe a Blood Vessel on the Shaco. Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, we had like 2 extra items that are not like part of like the
Yeah,
meta
blood
con.
pressure on the shaker. Yeah.
So this is more of a quiz, I guess, because like if I give you the cards, right, and I give you perfect Kaiser items, then this is what's supposed to come to your
Yeah.
mind. But I think,
Yeah, yeah.
but then
The
again, it's
funny
like,
part is you could make Hurricane Sojin of Kaisa, which I've actually seen Kiyu do,
what?
and she ulted 24/7 because you got a demo spot as well, and she was just.
Oh,
It took a while to get to the first ult, and then she just went hit, ult, hit, stun everyone, hit, stun
disgusting.
everyone, hit, stun everyone. It was crazy. It was crazy. Oh, man. Allergy.
The thing is, like, I feel like for you and me, because we know these cons, because we've played them so many times, it's just like, no duh. But if we give this to like a lower Elo player, they might struggle a little bit. So maybe not
It's
platinum,
fine.
maybe more like silver is an appropriate ranking for this one.
Depends how well you know the.
Yeah.
It's a famous comp, you probably know. But it's the mech items that people mess up a lot.
Yeah. I know, so this is a best in slot because then, and this was really inspired by you because you were the one that gave me feedback on it. Then I have another version of this, same thing, but then it's best in like alternate in slot. And so you're not going to have the best
Yeah.
items, and then that's going to be a cluster heck where everybody's going to be making all sorts of random
Yeah,
stuff.
this is the best. Like alternate items is where people. It's knowing what items are strong, different units that you usually make X item, and knowing what an alternately good setup is what is the first big step out of the designer comp mentality. So you can actually get the same comp, get a first with mech with Sojin Hurricane.
Yeah.
Right? It's something that you usually get that experience by one-tricking comps or by playing the game a lot.
Yep.
So,
and if you don't, then that's what we're here for.
Yeah, you will see like people who one-trick comps. In this meta, in this Elo, there's like, yeah, Darkstar was one-tricked for a while, but it got super nerfed. The only one-trick is the mech, right? And maybe Hyperals now, so maybe Zaya will become the next one-trick.
Oh, she's getting super nerfed next patch, most likely though.
Yeah, I saw some of I saw the teaser for what gets nerfed, but Mort will tell us all more.
I thought she got very lightly touched on that patch, like 5 damage while Poppy got destroyed and Twisted Fate got destroyed. I was like, wait, like that doesn't make any sense.
Twisted Fate was too good.
Yeah.
I think Twisted Fate was Ghost, like silent OP. He was way too strong.
So I think.
Poppy, I mean, put items on attack. What do you expect? Like Poppy with those items, like Bramble, Rabadons, and X, usually Dragonclaw, is still fucking strong, right? She's so strong. But yeah, TF was ridiculous. Like 200 more damage on a unit that you could so easily restart. It's way too.
So these were 10 puzzles. I think this is where I think it's good to finish it. If anybody has ideas or wants to get him any kind of help, send me pictures for inspiration. I'll make pictures of it, and hopefully we can get people watching the stream or the podcast and be more invested. Was this length of time good? I think I'm free. I'm free every Saturday at this time, so if we can do it like this, I think would be awesome.
Probably can, yeah.
It can be a little bit later. I'm flexible. I just I think this was good. So.
No, it seems fine. Around this time is perfectly
awesome.
It might be earlier, for example. Like if I don't go out, or it might be earlier, so it's fine.
Yeah, we can I guess schedule like every Friday talk about like.
Yeah, probably every Friday.
And the other thing was. There was one other thing I wanted to tell you about. Is 10 puzzles good? Do you want more? Do you want less? I don't know.
I think it's good, but we could also, and I think they will organically get better the more we do them, and you're more experienced in making them, and then maybe I pitch in as well.
Bless you. Bless you.
Thanks. So I think 10 is good, and we'll see if we can switch it out later as we go on.
Sure.
Maybe.
So I think it's a good point to end the podcast.